Welcome, I'm Todd Robbins, and this is August 28th. A number of appalling things happen on this day. Here are just a few of them. In 1830, the first American-built locomotive called Tom Thumb races a horse-drawn car, like a trolley, horse-drawn car, and they raced from Baltimore to Ellicott City, south of Baltimore, and the horse won. I love that. There were mechanical problems with the train, and of course the trains went on to become a dominant form of transportation, so on and so forth. But on this day, technology or innovation lost. On this day, speaking of innovations, 1837, John Lee and William Perrins, they were pharmacists. They came up with a sauce, a Worcestershire sauce, and they began manufacturing it on this day, 1837. How it got its name, I don't know this for a fact, but from what I understand, there was a restaurant that they frequented, and they brought the sauce in, and a guy from the South had come in and ordered a steak. And when they brought the steak, they had the sauce on top of it. And the guy looked at it, and he had the steak before, never had the sauce before, and he looked at it and went, Worcestershire sauce. Moving right along, 1922, WEAF radio station in New York City airs the first radio commercial. It was for Queensboro Realty, and they spent $100 for 10 minutes. There goes the neighborhood. On this day in 1939, a journalist named Kerr Hollingsworth made a report that there was a large number of troops, literally hundreds of tanks, armored cars, and field guns all along the border of Poland. These were German tanks and troops. And he was one who sounded the alarm that the Germans were coming. 3 days later, they invaded Poland, and World War II started. On this day, Strom Thurmond from South Carolina, 1957, on this day, a senator from South Carolina begins a 24-hour filibuster against the Civil Rights Bill. Why? On this day in 1963, a very famous moment, there was a march on Washington for rights, freedom, civil rights, jobs, and Martin Luther King gave a speech, the I Have a Dream speech, at the Lincoln Memorial. We still have a long way to go, don't we? On a nicer, more pleasant note, in 1973, Bobby Pickett, better known as Boris Pickett, Bobby Boris Pickett, his song Monster Mash achieved gold record status. Yay! 2017, Kenya is not screwing around. On this day, they created the world's toughest ban on plastic bags, with a $38,000 fine for having a plastic bag and 4 years in jail. They're not screwing around. On this day in 2018, we had lost, sometime before this, Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. And she was lying in state at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History in Detroit. And what's significant, how appropriate, she was in a 24-karat gold coffin. Yeah. On this day in 1903, Frederick Law Olmsted died. He was an American writer and a designer, landscaper. He had a hand in designing the Chicago World's Fair of 1893, very important event in popular culture. But his predominating achievement was creating a little thing called Central Park here in New York City. It's amazing to think that every square inch of that was planted. There was really nothing natural there. It just grew. Everything was landscaped. There's also a bit of darkness if you know anything about Seneca Village. We'll talk about that on another day. You can look that up. Interesting how They displaced a settlement of people in order to create the park. A settlement of African American people. And speaking of African American, finally on this day in 1955, very, very sad day, a young man named Emmett Till, who was an African American from Chicago. He went down to visit some relatives in Money, Mississippi, and he made a mistake. He smiled at a white woman. They didn't like that kind of thing down there. And later that night he was kidnapped and lynched. Emmett Till, on this day, 1955. Well, there you go, and there you have it. I hope you've enjoyed this video here, and if you did enjoy it, by all means, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit for the notifications so you keep up on what's dark things are happening. And there's a couple of interesting things coming up on the channel. You don't want to miss it, I guarantee it. If it's the kind of thing you like, if you like this kind of thing. And I hope to see you back here tomorrow. That is, if you survive all the appalling things that will be happening to you on this day today. And if you don't survive, well, do me a favor. As you're dying there, if you have the opportunity, and there are people around, look at someone and say, "Don't worry, I've hidden the money. I've hidden the money." And then close your eyes and drift away. Always leave them guessing. That's what I recommend. And I'm Todd Robbins. And in regards to today, good luck.